Hello everyone, so you're probably wondering why I'm so dressed up for this video. It's because this is a very serious issue. We are in a crisis right now. We have reached threat level pink, and that is a problem. What's the crisis? The world is running out of moves. We need to use fewer of them. The fewest possible, ideally. To help solve this problem, many of you have been asking me if I could make an FMC tutorial, or Fewest Moves Challenge tutorial, and my answer to that is no, but I am making this video to help. There are plenty of resources out there for you to learn FMC, so I'm just going to make this video to tell you what resources I think you should use, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about how I do FMC. The first resource is the FMC tutorial document by Sebastiano Tronto, first link in the description. This is a written PDF document that tells you everything you need to know about FMC. It's a little bit difficult to learn from because it's just a written tutorial, there's no visuals really, it's just there on the piece of paper, not as easy to learn from as a video, but it is a must-read if you want to start learning FMC. Had to get that out of the way because that is honestly the best resource available. Now to make it easier to learn, here are some other videos you can go watch. Jay McNeil's videos for FMC, linked in the description, are also quite good for learning FMC. I suggest you watch all of them and try to learn as much as you can. Now, some of them are a little bit hard to learn from. For example, his video about NIS, not an easy topic. It's not a bad video. It's a really good video, one of the best explanations I've seen for NIS. It's hard to learn from because it's a really difficult concept. You might have to watch the video like 3 or 4 times before you fully understand it. There are only 2 things I didn't really like about how Jay McNeil explained FMC, and those are EO and insertions. He didn't really give that many good examples for insertions, but then again, I haven't really seen any good tutorials for insertions, so that I'm kind of considering making my own for that. But for EO, that kind of bothered me because as a ZZ solver, I use EO all the time. Basically in every solve I do, I just start with edge orientation, and I feel like he could have explained it a lot better, and there's a lot more to learn about EO that makes it easier to use. And the way I recognize and solve EO is very different from how a lot of good FMC solvers do it, and that's basically just because I do so much ZZ that it's super natural for me to just see an EO, figure out the best way to solve it. So instead of learning from an FMC tutorial how to do EO, I suggest you learn from Phil Yu's ZZ tutorial. It's not for FMC specifically, but the concept of edge orientation is the exact same thing, and you can apply the skills directly from one into the other. Once again, Phil Yu's videos are linked in the description. They're pretty long, it's like 40 minutes if you want to watch both of his videos, which I think you should, but hopefully you can learn from them. They are very in-depth and very well explained, I think. That's how I learned how to do ZZ, and I haven't had any problems with it. For more information on insertions, definitely read the FMC tutorial that I talked about at the beginning, and also you might want to check out RedKB's videos on commutators, because that's what you're doing. You're inserting a commutator earlier into your solve. Now, RedKB's video isn't specifically about FMC, but you can apply the skills, and that's sort of how I learned and wrapped my head around the concept of what commutators were, is by watching his video. Once again, links, description. So yeah, those are the resources I think you need to get good at FMC. You might want to also check out some of the videos on Cubing World. They aren't my favorite personally, but they could be helpful to you. It's always good to just see more from more sources. And then also a great resource is the FMC Weekly Attempt, linked in the description. It's a weekly challenge where everyone does the same scramble and then they talk about how they did their own solutions. So if you check that out, you can actually see what other people did and you can attempt the same scrambles as them to see how you do. Now, how do I actually do FMC on most solves? I don't do it exactly like a lot of people. I think I have a fairly unique FMC style. So what I do is I almost always start with edge orientation just because I'm used to it with ZZ and it makes block building super easy comparatively to when you don't have edges oriented. Sometimes I'll even NIS in the middle of edge orientation because I can't find a good EO, and I'll just be like, okay, I'll do this one turn here, then NIS, and then solve the rest of the edges, and it's weird, but it works. Then I continue to use NIS and just block building until I get to an F12-1 most of the time. However, sometimes I don't actually solve my entire F12-1. I'll often like leave out a corner, or even 2 corners sometimes, or sometimes 3 if it's a really weird solve. So I'll basically just have a whole bunch of solved edges, and then later I'll solve all the corners with insertions. It's not always the best thing to do, but since I'm not very good at block building and I'm not afraid of doing a lot of insertions, it kind of works out for me, and I've had some really good solves with it. So anyway, after I'm done with my F12-1, I will solve all the edges and then usually insert a whole bunch of corner commutators to finish off the solve. And I'm not afraid to do like 3 commutators at once. I've had 2 official solves where I've had pretty good solves. One of them was with a 7-corner cycle and one of them was with a 6 corners where one of them needed to be flipped, so it needed to be solved with 3 commutators. And like I said, when I get to one of those, a lot of people would just be like, okay, this could work, but I don't feel like doing that many insertions. For me, I'm like, this could work, and I'm not very good at block building, So let's just do that. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful to anyone who wants to learn FMC. Like I said, I might make an insertions tutorial at some point, even though I'm not the best at them. I haven't really seen any good tutorials online, that I know of at least. There could be videos out there that I haven't seen. It looks like the threat level is still pink, but I believe in you guys. We're gonna fix this problem. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on Monday.